Good morning and welcome back to my channel. It's Saturday the 22nd of February 2025 and it's about 9:45 a.m. I'm kicking off again this week with what's for the basket, and this week we picked up in Marks and Spencer's rooibos tea, which is infused with sticky toffee. Now this is free on plan. I haven't tried it yet, although I did buy myself a box as well. But if it's anything like the shortbread tea, I will enjoy it. I'm drinking the shortbread one black and loving it. So I will try this later and I'll report back at some point on how nice or otherwise it is. But I am trying to be really mindful and considerate about what I put in the basket. I want to put things in the basket that I would be happy to take home with me. Okay. A couple of weeks ago when I was talking about this on my channel, two ladies commented back on the video. Irene said she was really thrilled once to see when she won the basket that she had got a tin of Marks and Spencer's ham. Wow, nice and generous. Something made her check the sell-by date, and it was 2 years out of date. That made me smile. Another lady commented that once in her basket there was a packet of Jaffa cakes and a small bottle of gin. I think whoever had put those in had kind of missed the point of something being free. But again, it made me smile. So this week for the basket I have this. Definitely trying to consider putting stuff in I'd be happy to take home with me and that somebody's not just going to turn their nose up at. One of the things I've been looking at over the last couple of weeks comes from a channel on YouTube called Two Sisters B. Now, I haven't got a clue why it's called Two Sisters B, and if anybody does know, I'd love to hear it. But the lady on there, she's not a girl, she's a lady, she talks about frugal living, paying off debt, budgeting, finance, saving, financial games, financial rewards. It's all about numbers and money, but she's lovely and it's very real, especially if you're looking for ways to save. And you don't have to save vast amounts of money. My husband taught me when we got married that if you can only put away £5 a week, do it. Don't just spend your last five if you can save it. Because prior to getting married, I think I lived payday to payday. I was single, I was buying my own place, paying my mortgage, paying my bills and having a good life. Never thought about saving. But I think today I see the importance of stuff like that, and I love little saving games that make it more than just, oh, I've got to put this 20 quid away or I've got to save that, whatever. I just like little saving games. One of the things that Jen does on this channel is something called the word of affirmation. So each week she takes a word and she breaks it down into consonants and vowels. And you pay yourself £1 for every consonant, or dollar in her case because she's American, and £2 or $2 for every vowel. So my first week I did the word hope because I'm trying to use words that are relevant to my journey, shall we say. So the word hope is £6 because you've got two consonants, two vowels. This week I took the word consistent because that's a really, really important word in the way I live my life today. So the word consistent breaks down to being £13. So I added my £13 to my £6 and I have £19 in my pot. And what she does is she sets the money aside for what she calls self-care. Now I haven't made a decision yet about what I'm going to set my money aside for. I've got a couple of ideas, one of which is about a toy appeal that we do every Christmas with the Salvation Army. I might just do it for that because it motivates me. But I think it's a lovely way, not just to save the money or put the money aside, but to actually acknowledge part of your journey, choose a word that is about what you want to keep practicing. So hope for me, I have hope today where I never had hope at one time. Consistent, the word for this week is what I try to be on it. Not what I try to be, what I am on a daily basis. Say it like it is, Jane. I am consistent because that's what I'm comfortable being. So yeah, 19 quid in the pot, and we'll see where it takes me. But I'm hoping to remember to share my word of affirmation each week. I mean, you take the word on my jumper, believe. I believe in this plan. I believe in myself. And for me, that is a huge thing, because the old me never did. I believed other people could achieve things. I believed other people had goals and purpose in life. But I just kind of muddled through and drifted through. You know? And I don't want to be like that anymore. I want to be the new me, the new Jane. The Jane who got to Target, stayed there for 6 years, then I didn't lose the plot, I lost the purpose. And I know people say you need a why. You can't do this without a why. And a lot of people I've watched on different channels will say, oh, my why. I watch a carnivore guy who says, my why is my 2-year-old daughter. You know, I could have said that when Joe was 2 years old, and he'd be where he is now. And his why is him. He is his master. He works for his purpose. I can't make him into somebody different. He is himself and proud of it. So for me, that why, when I lost the weight the first time, was very much because I want to be able to wear size 8, 10, 12 clothes. Been there, done that, it was lovely, but it didn't make me happy, and it didn't change my life. It just meant I could walk into nicer shops, buy more expensive clothes, and feel less like a bag of crap. But it didn't make me happy. And I can't say my why is because I want to be happy, because what is happy? Every day is different. But yeah, that's where I am at today. I'm doing this because it reminds me on a weekly basis of something really relevant in my life. I want to talk about a channel that I've found recently on YouTube. There's a lady called Tanya, and I picked up the channel because the title of her channel is Living on a UK State Pension. Now, of course, at my age, 68, I get the UK State Pension, and I don't have to live on it because I'm fortunate enough that I have a works pension from the job that I had for many years. But I thought, oh, that could be interesting. Now, I learned a few things from her channel already, just watching her, right from, I've been watching her for a good few weeks. First of all, I learned that she had wisdom because she's living on her UK state pension and she's banking her works pension, her civil service pension, because she wants to put back a lot of the money that she's spent over the last couple of years furnishing and doing up her property of choice where she lives now. Her story is very similar to mine. She's the same age as me. She's 68. Her husband lives a few miles down the road. A bit like mine. Mine does that. They're very good friends, like me and Richard. Very good friends. We have a good relationship. We're not divorced. We're happy being the way we are. So I start watching her, and I'm watching, she's explaining to people how to get the best out of your electricity provider and how to budget for this and how to do this. And she's obviously a woman, a very independent lady, a very strong, a very intelligent, smart woman. She's into exercise. She goes to like water aerobic type things. I learned yesterday watching her latest video that she also does workouts with weights. That in the summer or whatever, she does Pilates. But I'm really like, this is so interesting to watch a YouTuber who is my age, who has got a life. She drives, I don't drive. She drives, that's the major difference between us. You can see, but I didn't even think about that bit. She's got a life, she's got purpose, she gardens, she grows fruit and veg, she cooks. She's very good with bulk cooking and freezing some of the meals. She makes a good curry. I think she's got Indian back in her family, probably on her mum's side. She's just my kind of person. I really like her channel. But the one thing that struck me, I'm watching her for quite a long time and thinking, I like your attitude. I like the way you are around food. I like the fact that you eat well and you eat a really varied diet, but you don't skimp and you don't deprive yourself. She makes a really nice fruit loaf and she puts chocolate in it, but then she cuts it into so many portions and she'll have 1 piece or 2 pieces a day. Everything's thought out and well planned, not just from a financial perspective, but from a health perspective. She wants to be healthy. And then blow me down, I got a shock. She's a Target member at Slimming World. I knew I was in tune with her. I knew there was something in her that was speaking to me more than just the finance and the numbers, because I get the impression she's a lady who likes numbers too. But I thought, yeah, I recognised it in her that she has mentioned Slimming World in passing to do with recipes. She's mentioned Weight Watchers in passing to do with recipes. And I thought maybe way back, she had a history with weight loss stuff. But to actually hear this, I think it was this week, that she was a Slimming World Target member. But she believes in eating well, and it's not about deprivation. It's about a balanced diet and exercise. And so if you find, you're my age, you're in this sort of category, age group, whatever, and you're interested in a bit of Slimming World and a bit of budgeting and how to live on your old age pension, as we used to call it, and how to save and how to cook and put some in the freezer and how to shop and budget, because she talks about that as well. She talks about shopping and budgeting. She talks about how to make sure you're on the best rate for your electricity provider. And all these very ordinary things that often we don't think about. I mean, how many of us for years have been with the same electricity provider, but have never been wise enough to fix our payments? I mean, I've done it for years, where I will go and find, I stay with the same provider because I like the provider I'm with, but I make a point of fixing my rate for a couple of years. And all the way through COVID, when everybody, electricity bills started to rise and rise and rise, mine never altered, because just before it started, I fixed it. And it's just knowing that you can do things like that. And I was saying to my husband only this week, have you fixed your electricity? No, he said. Oh, well, we'll get it done. But all these little things add up. And she talks about these things because not all of us know about these things. But the icing on the cake is the fact that she's a Slimming World Target member, and I just recognised something in her that gelled with me. So her name's Tanya, she's 68, and her channel is called Living on a UK State Pension. And she's nice, and the more she vlogs, and her channel is growing and growing, she's just monetised it, but the more she vlogs, the more she's growing in confidence. And I've just really enjoyed watching her for the last quite a few weeks. So if you're interested in that sort of stuff, go and take a look at her channel. Because I think there are probably a lot of people watch me who are in my age group. Right. The big thing I'm interested in talking about this week is treats. Went to group on Tuesday, good group. But I hear so much of people saying, well, you won't have a good weight loss this week. Not necessarily all in my group, but around and about the people I know doing Slimming World. Couldn't expect a good weight loss this week. It was Valentine's Day. You've got to have a treat. Everybody deserves a treat. What about the wine? What about the food? What about the drink? And it's just like, why? Why have I always, and I'm talking about me, I'm not judging anybody else, why have I always, in my younger years and leading up to, really quite recently, whatever was considered a treat meant to eat? I think about years ago, we used to go up to Scarborough from Nottingham most weekends because my in-laws lived just inland from Scarborough. And the only way I could face that journey after work on a Friday when I was knackered was to fill the front of the car with treats. You know the grab and go packet of crisps, the sharing packet of crisps? Well, I'd have 3 of those to start me off, and enough junk food to get me onto the A1, and enough then on top of that to get me up the A1 to Tadcaster, and then across to Pickering or wherever. At every stage of that journey I ate. Now my husband is really quite normal around food. He's got a sweet tooth, but he's quite normal around food. He's not an overeater. If he had a bar of chocolate, he might have 2 or 3 squares and then he'd put it in the fridge. If he's got a packet of biscuits, he'll have 1 with his coffee and then put them away, or put them in the biscuit barrel and just have 1. If he's got a multi-pack of crisps, he'll put them in his treat drawer and he'll have a packet every other day, every 3rd day. He's nothing at all like me. All the years of living together, I never managed to change him. I never managed to mess his life up with food like I messed mine up. But I ate every stage of that journey on a Friday because it's all I knew how to do. And it was a treat. It was a treat that got me from Nottingham to Scarborough, 125 miles. And my whole life has been like that. Mention the word treat and my brain goes, bing, what can I eat? I've learned very much solidly since I've been back on Slimming World this time that it's not a treat, it's sabotage. And for me, that moment on the lips, the lifetime on the hips, is not the answer. And I think one of the main things that's sticking with me is when I talked at Christmas about FOMO and JOMO, so the fear of missing out, then you've got the deprivation reaction. The JOMO bit, like when I went to group after Christmas and after New Year and I got on the scales and I got a weight loss both of those weeks, the joy of missing out feels better than any crap junk food treat could taste. Because what I recognise now in myself, and I'm not talking about any of you, I'm talking about me, is that first something you put in your mouth that gives you the feeling. I used to do that and then I try and replicate it for an hour. Keep shoving something else in, and you can't. Because eventually you're just weighing yourself down with a load of rubbish in your system that makes you feel crap. And then I would wake up the next morning with like a food hangover, because food is my drug of choice. I lost my brother a couple of years ago. He was 11 months older than me. My brother and I as kids were very similar. We both had food as a drug of choice. I think it was part of our upbringing because Mum always overfed us. She's very generous with food. My mum's a feeder. So my brother and I were there. He's 11 months older than me, and we're both into food. But then we grew up and we moved and we lived in a pub because my dad was the landlord of a pub. And then my brother discovered drink. So he liked a drink. I could take it or leave it, and I still can. We both discovered fags. So I would have been like 14, he was 15. We both discovered fags. So we smoked in secret for a year until we came out as we were smokers. I smoked Consulate. He smoked, I think back then, Players number 6. But my smoking habit has been on-off. I can smoke for 10 years and be a heavy smoker, and then I can just stop. And I stopped smoking, I can't think, probably 10 years ago, probably more. But when I'm smoking, I'm a 20 a day girl, minimum. When I'm not smoking, most of the time I don't even give it a thought, unless I walk out of Astra and everywhere stinks of fags. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake, I don't like that. But my brother discovered the fags and the booze, and it killed him at the age of 66, so he died 2 years ago. And I am so grateful today that I'm being able to back off the food, because I don't want to be the one who dies because I was an overeater. And I know that part of my makeup and part of my drug of choice was being a compulsive overeater. Because when I eat compulsively, I'm never full. There's no end to it. I could eat and eat and eat and eat and never switch off. And I'm so grateful today that with Slimming World, I'm learning to eat and feel full. I mean, I said to Joe yesterday when I finished my lunch, I am so, because he made me a cup of tea and I was like, whew, I'm so full. But then I looked at what I'd had for my lunch. I'd started off with a tub of my favourite cottage cheese with pineapple because it's protein and it's filling. Then Joe had made in the week this lovely casserole. We called it the pasta roll, didn't we, Joe? Mm. It had every kind of vegetables you could imagine in it, potatoes, carrots, even put sliced up Brussels sprouts in it. It had onion, it had garlic, and then we made it with an organic passata and an organic tomato sauce that had capers and olives in it. And I used 25 squirts of olive oil to make the whole thing up to like 9 or 10 sins with the sauce with the olives and the capers, so that when I divided it into 4 portions, it made it like 2.5 or 3 sins a portion. But Joe made it and he put it in Pyrexes with plastic lids, and they were big portions, weren't they? Big, nice, generous meals. Yes, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I thought you'd gone to sleep. And so yesterday, after I'd eaten my cottage cheese for the protein, and we put minced beef in it, 5% fat minced beef. And then Joe had half-cooked some macaroni. And then before we finished off the pasta roll, as we called it, we cooked it on top of the stove in a sauté pan. We added the macaroni to it and we just left it to finish cooking, the macaroni to finish cooking in the sauce. And oh my days, it was so tasty. So for my lunch yesterday, the cottage cheese with pineapple for the protein and the filling power, followed by the pasta roll, followed by 4 pieces of fruit. Joe chopped me up, and I've discovered a new apple that I love, and it's called Golden Crunch. Got them in Asda at the moment, 6 for £1.49, and they are so tasty. I think it's probably not a keeping apple. I don't think they'll be around for long. But I ended up, he chopped up 3 of these apples and a big conference pear, and he presented me with this huge bowl of chopped chunks of fruit. And me, I love fruit in that way. I love apples and pears. You can keep your oranges and your bananas and such like, but I love apples and pears, something to crunch on. So I sort of sat there whilst we were chatting. We were actually doing a quiz on the internet. While we were doing that, I sat there and I ate this bowl of fruit. Then he made a cup of tea with milk in, and then I'm like, I am so satisfied, so full. But I looked at that meal and okay, yeah, that meal was probably the best part of 9 sins, but so what? Because the majority of it, the meat, all the vegetables, all the fruit, was free food. And that's how I like to eat now, because I do know what full feels like. So I don't think I would ever describe myself as a compulsive overeater when I am eating in the Slimming World style, because I get full. So looking at the word treat, because I'm never hungry, because I eat to satiation, because I only eat food that I like, I'm never chasing a treat because I don't need icing on my cake, I've already got it. So that word treat is like me thinking at the moment I need to come up with a different thing to treat myself with other than food. Then I took a reality check and I thought, why do you? You've got a good life. You're happy with your life. You're content with your life. You're comfortable in the life you've got. Why do you need a treat of any kind? Why not just say to yourself, like your friends tend to do, my normal friends who have never been to Slimming World and never needed to, they might just say when we're out shopping, oh, I like that dress, I'm going to try it on. And if they like it when they've tried it on, they'll buy it. But they don't call it a treat. So I have to be very careful about the name that I give to things and the way I speak those things over myself. Today, I do not need a treat. Today, I just need to carry on living the life I'm living and be grateful.
You're at 24 and a half minutes.
Right, gotta go. Lost a pound this week. I'll be back. Bye.